Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Griffin and today we're going to talk about cookies. Will you accept these cookies?
Chances are you've probably skimmed past a pop-up window on almost every internet site you've visited that asks a question about cookies. And if you're anything like me, you probably click OK without reading the fine print or really understanding what you're agreeing to. So what are cookies? Are they important, and should we be concerned about them if we have to agree to let web pages use them to track our movements?
Today we're going to break it down. Let's see how the cookie crumbles and potentially how many baking related puns I can fit into one video.
Let's start with the basic ingredients. What is a cookie? According to Albrecht, cookies are small files of text stored on our computers or devices that assist a web page in recognizing us when we return to it. Our cookie sends back our unique information to the site. This allows web pages to personalize our browsing experiences, which can mean anything from tailoring marketing towards our personal interests to streamlining our checkout when we make online purchases. While most of us probably don't have an issue with our browsing habits being used to make online shopping easier, the question of privacy has been called into question many times when it comes to the use of cookies. The main reason for this is explained in an article by Slattery and Krawitz, where they discuss how cookies can store more information about us than what we realise.
When I think about what kind of information might be stored in my own cookies, I imagine that this one maybe represents the kind of clothes that I like from The Iconic, and this one might represent the bags that I wish I could afford from Louis Vuitton.
But the reality is, it goes further than that. Some cookies, gathered from my use of social media or my Google account, might also store data about my health, my religious beliefs, my political views, genetic and familial information, and even my credit card details. Not to mention my contact information, including not only my current address, but even previous addresses and employment history.
Seems a bit more complex than just a simple cookie now, doesn't it?
Obviously, this information can only be recorded if I have given it to a website. For example, a cookie will contain my credit card information only if I have provided it when making an online purchase. But as Slattery and Krawitz go on to explain, the problem lies in the fact that most internet users do not fully understand what a cookie is, what information it stores, or how that information is used.
Now, this isn't exactly a new issue.
In an article written in 2000, Rachel Zimmerman revealed that the problem with internet privacy is that we rarely conduct ourselves online with the air of individuals who are being watched, because data tracking online is generally unobtrusive.
This is in contrast to how humans usually behave when we feel like we are under surveillance.
As philosopher Jeremy Bentham proposed when he designed the Panopticon, a prison where the inmates would constantly feel like they were being watched, whether or not they truly were, and thus would behave accordingly. But, unlike being followed around in a store by a physical person with a clipboard, writing down information about how long I spend there or what items I'm buying, cookies don't announce themselves.
And you only have to agree to them once for a website to repeatedly make use of them.
As Zimmerman goes on to say, how often do we unwittingly type something into Google, thinking that our search is private and that no one is watching? Even with all of that in mind, you might still be asking yourself, where's the harm in just a few cookies, especially if they are stored safely in my computer?
Well, what if I told you that some undisclosed third parties also have their hands on your cookie jar? Now there's some food for thought.
Ryglooth tells us that for every 10 websites you visit, there are easily another 20 that have access to some form of tracking data pertaining to your navigation habits. He goes on to say that unsurprisingly, the most prominent of these services are Google Analytics, Facebook, and Twitter.
While this information, as I mentioned before, is generally harmless,
used to tailor our internet browsing to our own personal interests, and of course to target ads to our preferences, the main issue here, as Epperson identifies, is the general lack of understanding amongst internet users. You might accept these delicious cookies without understanding what they are made of, and thus the issue of consent for use and privacy becomes a bigger problem. Furthermore, if our entire internet experience is shaped around what we browse online, how would you feel if you realised you were missing out on a hidden gem on Netflix, or finding an entirely new sense of style because of your cookies? More importantly, what if your political affiliations, your sense of what is actually going on in the world, and your entire way of thinking being influenced by the online persona that is built around your internet searches?
I know. I'm starting to sound a bit like a conspiracy theorist, but most of the time we already feel like the internet knows what we're thinking, because the fact is that thanks to our cookies, it kind of does.
So what's the solution to all of this? Well, cookies are a fact of the internet. They will continue to be used and we will continue to allow them. Work is constantly being done behind the scenes by government and law to ensure that consumer privacy is protected in the ever-changing online landscape. But if you are still concerned about how much of your information is available for advertisers online, it is as simple as regularly clearing your cookies from your browsers, turning up your privacy settings, and making good choices online. Staying educated and ensuring that we remain informed about where our data is stored and how our information is used. Just like real delicious chocolate chip cookies, everything is good in moderation. We just need to be aware of what the ingredients are to protect our health, online and offline.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit subscribe. You can find links to my blog and social media down below.
And if these cookies look particularly delicious, there may even be a recipe video for you to check out on my latest blog post.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.